Hey, welcome back everybody. Quick little project here today. I want to go out, just fix up some fence from the winter. I know there's some staples that came out, maybe a couple insulators missing. And then I want to tighten up some fence strainers. Just make sure there's nothing laying on the fence. I was down in Florida for a week and got pretty windy while I was gone, so we'll take a walk around and see what we got. Generally, I just throw a little tool belt on. Makes it a whole lot easier if you got everything right here where you need it. Once in a while, I'll take the golf cart out, throw everything in it, but it's a nice day for a walk, so I'm just gonna throw everything in here. Got my staples in one, insulators in another. I'm good to go. So I don't think I've ever really given a good, what do I want to say, explanation of how my pasture's set up. So I'll do that now. When I first moved in, I ran, oh, what was it? I can't remember what gauge wire it was. I had to look up for the voltage drop and all that. But I knew I wanted to run a tank heater up here and the fencer. So put it in conduit, ran it all the way up here and stuck my fencer up here and got, you know, close enough to where I can throw a tank heater in there, put it on this GFCI outlet. So first things first, unplug your fence, and then I'm gonna start filling their water while we take a walk around here. So the nice thing about this setup is the well was already up here with a frost-free hydrant when I moved in, and I don't know why the guy didn't have animals or anything. That's just where they drilled the well, but it worked out really great for me. And I couldn't get grounding rods in there to save my life, so for my fencer, you're supposed to have two big grounding rods, and that helps, you know, your fence deliver more voltage to the animal, I guess, through the line. But I couldn't get grounding rods in to save my life. This ground is just so rocky up here. So finally I dug a little trench, got smart, and I just grounded it to my well casing there, and that's worked really good. That's about as good a ground as you're gonna get. So let's just take a walk around here. So this area down here, which you can see through the plastic insulators, broke off here, so we'll have to get a few of those. I didn't grab any of them, but obviously this should be up here like this, and we'll tighten it up too in a little bit. But I keep the cows down here for the winter. Just try to keep them off the pasture for the most part, let it grow back, or, you know, ground recover. It's not doing any growing obviously during the winter, but I got a grain bin down there, which we'll show you. So for my corners, I did them about 8 feet apart, you know, each post. And then I used this 10-foot galvanized tubing from just a farm supply store down in Nichols, New York. And I use these cables to tighten the braces. They're kind of cool. They got a special tool that I could show you, but they were kind of newer when I started doing this a few years ago. And then I got these type of corner insulators. So I brought my line in through that, crimped it off. Each one is connected. All my lines are hot. You know, where it might touch the cables and stuff, I insulated it obviously to keep it from arcing. It's insulated from the post there via these insulators, and then on the corners I used the big wraparound insulators, and that worked pretty nice. Got a couple 10-foot gates so I can get the tractor in and out. Up there to get up into the main pasture where they would eat during the summer. There's one 10-foot gate there that I put in. And then I got a couple troughs for throwing grain in, so it keeps it off the ground. They're not eating it off the ground. keep my grain in this old water tub. I usually throw 300, maybe 400. I think 300 pounds is all that it'll fit. But I use it fast enough where it never goes bad. It doesn't get moldy or anything in there. I got to come up with like a little bit better top or something. I might weld something up out of some sheet metal, but that works nice. The grain's right here. Pull it out of there, and I just give them, usually in the winter, I'll give them a few scoops a day. Usually a scoop per animal. That seems to keep them pretty satisfied. I just like having it here because if they do ever get out or anything, they're extremely responsive to grain. You know, you grab a white bucket or something, or they see you open that container and throw it in their trough in there, and right back through the gate they go. So bell ring. So here again, this is where it cuts off. All this down here is my winter feeding area. Everything up here is summer grazing, and I've got this quarantined off into 3 sections so I can do some rotation this summer. Only thing I still have to do is somehow get water from the well over to each paddock so that I can put my water tank over here, turn my frost-free hydrant on, get it through a hose or a pipe out to here. So that's what I'll be working on this week or this weekend. I've got spring gates here. This runs down through, and I use the trees, the locust trees here, for my posts as far as I could. Added this so I could run the spring gate off it. And then you can get down through here with a tractor. You can do whatever kind of, and here's a, but I like to be able to get down through everything so I can brush hog or mow around the fence. Generally, I actually bring my 0-turn out here, and the deck is wide enough that I can get under a little bit from this side and under from the other side, and that just allows me to go right around the fence. I don't have to get the weed eater out. It's, you know, it takes maybe 45 minutes, but you do that a couple times this summer and it keeps all the weeds off your wires. So that works out real slick. But here's the kind of stuff that usually happens throughout the winter. Staples pop off here and there. So just like that, on to the next. So when I moved in up here, I went out, first thing I did was build this pasture. That was my very first project, but I went out, I rented an auger, a tow behind auger, from a place up in, or pounder, fence post pounder, not an auger, from a place up in Campbell, New York. And I got it back here and the thing just 1 pound. At my old farm, it was all sill riverbed type soil, and we just pounded them right in like butter. It was unbelievable. We didn't have to drill a pilot hole or anything. Up here, I couldn't do that. So I ended up hiring a guy with a skid steer and an auger on the front, which you can use down pressure and drill these holes pretty good. I used a small pilot bit and a bigger bit for the post itself. This post on this corner, everywhere in here, there must be a giant rock, and we'd already laid out the rest of the fence, so the corner needed to go here, corner post. It only went in about 1 foot, and I was hoping it would hold. It lasted like 2 winters, and then it started tipping over. So what I did was I winched it that way. I poured a bunch of concrete in it. I put some rebarb through it to help it, you know, give the concrete more to hang on to, and braced it with these posts. It hasn't gone anywhere since. So that should be pretty good for, I mean, it doesn't look the prettiest, but it works. It's a pasture. all the insulators on the straight line sections are on the inside of the fence, so that way if the cows push on it like that, they can't push the staples off. And then on the corners you go around the outside, obviously, because you've got a lot of tension on there. The corners are all your strength in these high tensile fence systems. It's where everybody your strength comes from. There's a view from the bottom corner. First set of strainers. And by strainers, they're basically ratchets, but they're what tightens your wire. We'll give those a couple cranks because it looks like it's just a little bit slacked. I don't go crazy because you don't need to. You know, some people have these tensions so tight, but I really see no need. There's a bunch of deer down there. I don't know if you'll see their tails on camera. That's good. And they just make this tool that goes right around there, and so here's that first temporary paddock. All this down here, and you can see up through there is where I was pointing that I used the locust trees as posts. Looks like we got one insulator missing there. Might be laying right there, unless it broke. The plastic ones break from time to time, but sometimes they just pop off like that too. You get lucky. May or may not hold. Yeah, it doesn't want to. The threads are slipping on it, so I'll take that with me to remind myself what I need. So right now, this is the second temporary paddock from there to this line here. There's my tower stand, in case you wondered where that was in relation to everything. And then this is the third paddock up here. I think I've showed in other videos. I wanted to leave, so the reason I put that in there, deer generally aren't going to come into the pasture, so this is all like safe space over there for me to get in and out from the house. And then everything outside of the pasture is generally where I shoot them from there. They do come in here once in a while during hunting season. It's not super typical though. Uh-oh. That's the one I hit with the tractor. It's busted off right just below the ground. So I'll probably have to put like a... What I'll probably do is I'll go get a T-post and put in here just to give that some support. The T-posts, I can at least get those a couple feet in the ground and they don't go anywhere because there's nothing for the frost to really grab onto and heave them out. Final, or the far corner here. This is all Humpty Dumpty through here. I feel like somebody plowed this up before I moved in and was gonna plant it or do a food plot or something and never disked it down or anything. But I might come in here and try to roll it down a little bit. So here's the last corner before we start heading right back over to the wellhead in the winter feeding area. I've got two sets of strainers. The one we tightened down below there, and then this one set up here. And the reason for that is it's very hard to tighten your entire fence uniformly with one set of strainers on a bigger run like this, a bigger perimeter. You know, your corners and stuff won't allow it to get tight past them sometimes. That one's got an insulator stuck in it. Yeah, that looks good though. See there, water's almost full. Alright, so I'll go down, grab a couple plastic insulators, but that's basically the tour. So like I said, I gotta run a pipe from basically that corner where that spring gate is there to here, or a hose, whatever. A hose would work, but you get a lot more pressure drop through a small hose than you would through like a 1-inch or 3/4 inch black pipe. And then I got to get it from here over to that corner, just over this knoll. You can probably see the spring gate there, but that's going to be a little bit longer run. So I got to find out, you know, what I need and where I can get it, see what I want to do for that. I might just do a hose for now. We'll see. I can usually get 3 to 4 days off filling that in the summer, probably 3. I've got more cows this year. I got my buddy's bull for the summer, so I think I got 8 animals that I'm watering now. And then in the winter it usually lasts like 5 days because they're not drinking nearly as much. So that's pretty much the setup.